So a deal breaker for me when it came to buying a camera is a screen that did not rotate. But with the Canon M50, it actually rotates to 180 degrees. So as I'm recording this video right now, I have my screen right here in front of me so that I can see what I look like throughout my performance. So this is definitely a pro for many of us, especially the YouTubers, when it comes to getting the Canon M50. How's it going, everybody? My name's Ash and I'm consistent in helping brand new YouTubers post content onto this platform. But today I'm actually not doing a tip video for new YouTubers. I'm doing a video based on the Canon M50 because not only is it beneficial for brand new YouTubers, but it's also beneficial for everybody else. Now first, I want to say that the camera I am shooting with is the Canon EOS M50. The only difference is I do use a different lens, but we're going to talk about that lens a little bit later on in the video. As well, no matter how hard I tried, fluff seemed to fly onto my lenses when I was shooting my B-roll footage. So I do apologize in advance if that bugs you when you're seeing my clips, but overall the clips are really great and you're gonna enjoy this content because it's gonna be an A to Z about this camera. Alright, now on with the show. So the Canon EOS M50 camera is a mirrorless camera, and mirrorless cameras are more new in trend nowadays because they are a lighter format of camera. You will see a lot of content creators use a DSLR camera. They're great for shooting footage and everything else you need to do, but on a mirrorless camera, they're lighter and they're a lot more easier to transport to get your job done. So the Canon M50 camera does come with its own kit lens. It comes with a 15 to 45 millimeter lens. Now the price for the camera with the body and the kit lens goes for around $669 American or $799 Canadian. So it still has a hefty little price tag, but it's one of those cheaper, more better performing entry-level cameras. Now the lens of the actual camera itself is super easily interchangeable. All you have to do is align the white dot on the lens to the white dot on the camera, turn, and it clicks in place. And this goes through any lens that you choose amongst your Canon M50 camera, as long as it's adaptable to an EFM mount lens. So as soon as I got my hands on the Canon EOS M50, I did use the lens that came included with the camera. But since then, I have upgraded to the Sigma 30mm F1.4 Lens, and I'll talk about why a little bit later on. But one thing for sure, I can prove that lenses are easily mountable towards this camera because my Sigma lens mounts on with the white dot connecting to the white dot on the camera, turn to the right, and it clicks in place. So a deal breaker for me when it came to buying a camera is a screen that did not rotate. But with the Canon M50, it actually rotates to 180 degrees. So as I'm recording this video right now, I have my screen right here in front of me so that I can see what I look like throughout my performance. So this is definitely a pro for many of us, especially the YouTubers, when it comes to getting the Canon M50. Another big component for me being a YouTuber and needing a brand new camera is I needed a camera that has a jack input for a microphone. And the Canon M50 has just that. So all you have to do is go on the side of the camera, take off the cap that covers the microphone jack, input your microphone, and then guess what? You have two choices you can do. You can mount your actual microphone on top of the camera by removing the cover and slipping it on and tightening it, or you can do what I'm doing. Right now, I'm currently recording this video with my microphone right here in front of me. I do currently use the Blue Yeti microphone, and with it right here in front of me, I can simply have my mic inputted into the camera and have my microphone right where I need it. So now that you have your actual audio adjusted for your microphone, the only thing you need to do is adjust the settings. So do that on the Canon M50. All you gotta do is click the menu button, go to your shooting settings, and then scroll down to where you're gonna see sound recording. You either place it on manual or you keep it disabled if you want to use the audio coming from the Canon M50 microphone itself. But as well, if you go to record level, you can choose how strong you want the audio to come out. Personally, I recommend don't go over 12 because if you do that, the audio will be too strong for your audience and it has a green bar indicator to let you know that it's on point. So all you have to do is adjust the audio and now you're good to go. We have now covered the lens, we've covered the audio jack, and swinging over to the other side of the camera, we have the actual HDMI port. And what's great about it is it's super simple. You can plug in the HDMI wherever it needs to go. Most of the times I just plug mine into the laptop to transport my files so that I can do my videos, but it also does plug into certain TVs as long as you have the extendable HDMI port on your TV. So this is the default battery that comes with the Canon M50, and it comes with its own single individual charger. Now, the only downfall when it comes to the Canon M50 battery is the fact that it doesn't last more than 1 hour, I find, when it comes to recording. So an option you can do is you can get a backup battery. Like me, I use the BM Premium batteries. This is a dual battery pack that I got from Amazon. That way, in case I am currently recording and the battery power dies because it's over an hour worth of recording, I have 2 backup batteries on charge ready to go all at the same time. Now, a small downfall when it comes to the Canon M50 is the fact that this mirrorless camera does not have long recording time. If you look at the top left-hand corner of the screen, you can see that it's a maximum 30 minutes. So what this means is if your videos are longer than 30 minutes and you're doing continuous shooting, you're gonna have to press that record more than one time. So if you are looking for a continuous shooting camera, you're gonna have to look elsewhere beyond the Canon M50. So something that makes no sense to me when it comes to buying a camera, but it's default with many of them, is a lot of them do not come included with an SD memory card. So you have to buy your own. But unless the store salesman is gonna be having a promotion, most of us end up buying our memory cards. But keep it simple. Go with something like the SanDisk Extreme Pro. I use 2 of them. I have a 64 gig and a 32 gig. And I've done my research online to make sure that the ones that I buy aren't scam or fraud cards. Most of the time, many of us have an SD card lying around, so it's not a big deal, but keep in mind when it comes to buying yourself a camera, you're gonna be needing an SD card. Now, if you have a small SD card lying around and you wanna use that, but you gotta format the camera each and every time or erase what's on the camera each and every time, no problem. Click on the menu button on your actual Canon M50 and then go to Function Settings. From there, there's the option to format card, and all you have to do is press OK. Once you do this, everything will be erased off the camera and you can start brand new with that current SD card. So now let's get that battery and the SD card into the Canon M50. Let's flip the camera upside down, and where you're gonna notice that there's a closed latch. Simply slide your thumb over the latch to unlock it, and it's gonna open up the bottom of the camera. Then there's an insert. You got your SD card and your battery that both go into their own individual slot. Close up the door and you're ready to start. Now, many of us want to be able to adjust our camera when it comes to the lighting. We can do it on automatic exposure or we can do it on manual. For mine, for example, I'm currently on manual, which means that this camera is programmed to be adjusted to these lights. If I take my camera on the go somewhere else, it's going to be either really dark or really light. But if you want to be able to change those settings, you can do so either from the touchscreen of the actual camera or in the settings itself. Let's start off by adjusting the setting on the camera itself. Click the Set button, and the Set button is a little tiny circle button in the middle of the camera. From there, it should automatically default, if you haven't used it before, to the top left-hand corner of the screen. And if it doesn't, just scroll up and down till you get to the top left-hand corner. From there, you're gonna see a little record button with an M. If you click on that, that is your manual or your automatic exposure. And you can click up and down and play around with the exposure as you please. Now, an even easier way to adjust your exposure on your camera is using the touchscreen, because the Canon M50 is a touchscreen camera. All you have to do is touch the icon in the top left-hand corner of the screen and click up and down for either manual or automatic exposure. So now let's play around with some fun settings on this camera screen. Let's adjust our ISO settings. To adjust the ISO settings on your Canon M50, all you have to do is go to the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. You're gonna see the button that's gonna say ISO, and you simply touch it. And then it's a touchscreen. You can either scroll or you can click the left or the right hand button depending on what actual level you want to set it as. You might hear a lot of people with cameras talk about the shutter speed. When it comes to the shutter speed, if it's higher, it slows down the video, and if it's lower, it makes it more in real time. A lot of us prefer our shutter speed between 30 to 60 when it comes to the shutter speed. Now, to adjust yours on the Canon M50, you go to the bottom left-hand corner of the screen and it's gonna show a 1 through whatever number is listed. All you have to do is click on it and scroll up or down to adjust your shutter speed the way that you want it. Now, there's gonna be one more we gotta talk about, and that is either your f-stop or your aperture. So when it comes to your aperture, this is what determines how much light gets let into the lens. The lower the aperture, the more light comes in and the more you can go with the blurry background. The The more higher the aperture goes, it means it lets in less light, but that can get a lot more crisp, clear background that you might be looking for. Now with the Canon M50, if you're looking more for a blurry background, you're gonna need an f-stop or an aperture less than the 3.5. With the kit lens that comes with the Canon M50, it stops at 3.5, and that's where we're gonna be talking about my Sigma lens a little bit later on. But to adjust your aperture on the Canon M50, all you gotta do is click that icon, which is right next to the shutter speed, and as soon as you click it, it's the same format. You can scroll left to right, click OK, for whichever aperture you want to set your camera onto. Now, I like to make thumbnails, and when I do, I like to set a timer on my camera. Luckily, all cameras have timers. But for the Canon M50, all you have to do is click the set button in the middle of the camera. From there, go to your drive mode and then scroll down to whatever timer you want. So you have no timer, 2 seconds, or 10 seconds. But as well, you can do continuous shooting, or you can do one shot at a time. Whatever you want, it's right there in the drive mode for you to be able to adjust. Many of us love different picture styles to choose from. With the Canon M50, I can do just that. So if I click the set button in the middle of the camera and then I scroll down quite a bit, it will adjust my screen from the left to the right. And then when it does that, I can choose a picture style. And let's say I want to go with a nice black and white picture or black and white video, I click on monochrome. But there is so many of them that you can choose from. The one that I'm currently filming in right now is landscape, and that's because it gives a little bit more pop of color amongst my video, but you can choose whichever one you want and enjoy different styles of pictures that you can take off your Canon M50. Now I wanted to give a demonstration on how lighting exposure works on automatic. So I took my Sigma lens and the Canon built-in lens and shot a video together. It's a very simple video of bouncing it off of the Canon cap towards my DigiPower streaming light, bouncing it back off of the actual calendar that you see in front of you, and then coming back to the Canon cap again. Personally, I find the Sigma lens catches closely a lot more better and gives a lot more depth of color, but the Canon camera lens also is not far in competition. My absolute hands down favorite part about the Canon M50 camera is the fact that it has Bluetooth built into the camera. So because of this, I can just simply take my cell phone, upload my footage, my pictures, whatever I want, instantly onto my cell phone by a click of a button. All you have to do is download the Canon M50 app, then right there, stream it up with Bluetooth, and you are ready to go. What I love to do is do a 10-second test video on my camera, transfer it over to my cell phone, and see how my footage turns out. And with the Canon M50 and having Bluetooth built into it, you can do the exact same thing. So we have now gone back to the basics when it comes to this mirrorless camera, the Canon M50. And this is my tutorial and my basic menu guide so that if you are starting off with this camera, you have a few things that you can use in your hands to get started with this camera. And if you haven't already, subscribe to my channel. I do post one video each and every week, and my main target audience is brand new YouTubers that are getting started to post content onto this platform. And until next week, guys, I do thank you for watching, and I will catch you here next week when I upload my next video.